welcome to another episode of Only Comics. I'm Mike. This is Adrian.
What's up? What's up?
What's up, dude?
Everything's lovely, man. Just another day. Got a little snow, a little extra snow today. I'm like, what? What's going on here? I just won't let it go.
Nope. No. Winter is. I don't know if it's like the groundhog saw shadow. I don't know how that has any effect on the weather, but apparently, whatever the groundhog did or didn't do, I guess winter's still here. So Yeah, so we got a little snow outside, a little coffee to keep us warm, but we're not going to mention who it's from because, like last week we said that that was your only free ad here on Only Comics. So anyways, there's been a crazy week. We had Super Bowl last week, you know. I know it has nothing to do with comics, but did you watch Super Bowl?
I did. It was the first time I actually watched a whole entire Super Bowl game from beginning to end. Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, you got to see Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I did. She was all excited and stuff, but then the aftermath of that, she ended up sending, I think, at least that's what they posted. Like $50,000 or whatever. She submitted $50,000 to somebody's family or something. I don't know if she. Well, I guess it was only one person, one fatality.
Yeah, in the parade. Yeah. So Taylor Swift helped out some families there. That's cool. But now Taylor Swift is rumored to show up in Deadpool. I keep calling it Verse. I want it to be Verse Wolverine. Deadpool and Wolverine, which is, the title that was confirmed. So then I think that's why Super Bowl is also comic news, because they debuted the trailer. They do this new thing now where the commercial just kind of gives you a little teaser, and it says trailer online right now.
Okay. Well, that kind of makes sense because they want the views to pop online as opposed to during the Super Bowl. So, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it was a new trend. I think Jurassic Park had one like that, and there was a Planet of the Apes movie as well. But so the Deadpool trailer, which we're going to get into today, Deadpool Wolverine trailer debuted. It was a long trailer, 2 minutes and change. That was cool. Dude, the minute it dropped, the teaser, I'm online trying to check. My wife's like, look at the commercial. I'm like, I don't give a shit about that commercial right now. I'm trying to see this, and I didn't find it right away because I was looking for Deadpool 3, which we've been calling it the movie that whole time. But there was a rumor a few months back that it was going to be called Deadpool and Wolverine. So that rumor was true, which I kind of like that because that means we're going to get to see, like, this is probably going to be at least one of Hugh Jackman's last Wolverine performances. I know there's some rumors about them showing up in the Avengers movies, but I think this is going to be his last big, role as Wolverine. So I'm kind of excited that he's kind of getting equal billing with Deadpool, like it's going to be a joint movie versus a solo. How do you feel about that?
I'm cool with it. I mean, when Echo came out, we thought it was going to be an Echo movie. It turned out to be a Fist movie. So, I mean, I'm good with the 50-50 splits on the movie credits.
Hey, at least this time they're, like, telling us in advance. They're not just going to slap them in there and have them take over half the movie. So we got that. Fantastic Four casting was also released this week for the main four in the movie. So we're going to talk about that. And then X-Men 97. Dude, Marvel was, like, on a roll this week.
Yeah.
I mean, between the Deadpool trailer, Deadpool Wolverine trailer, X-Men 97 trailer also debuted. They announced the Fantastic Four casting. They also announced that, we'll talk about this in news and rumors, a Midnight Suns movie. So I don't know a whole lot about Midnight. It's a supernatural group formed by a pair of Ghost Riders. And I think Wolverine was a member or whatnot. So that there's a rumor that movie is in the works as well. So they've been on a roll. My question, dude, is where's DC?
Well, DC's in Snyder's garage, man.
Yep, that's fair. That's fair. But I mean, dude, Marvel's just like, and their movies have not been great lately, right? But I think that's going to change with a lot of what they've announced. But they just been on a roll, and DC is just, like you said, out in the garage somewhere.
Right. Maybe Marvel's trying to be the Sam Jackson of comic books. It's like they're just like in everything.
Yeah.
Or the Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart is like a Bush in a movie, just as long as he's in some movie. It's like Sam Jackson. I think he's done like 120 something or 60 something movies, dude.
Really?
Yeah, that dude's been in a lot of movies, man.
You're right. It's about as much news as Marvel announced this week compared to DC. Zero, none. Which is too bad. And people think we're like Marvel biased. It's just DC don't do shit right now. And we talk a lot about movies on here, the cinematic universes. But so anyway, we're going to hop into our news and rumors segment, Adrian. So we got a handful of things going on in the news. Why don't we start with the Fantastic Four? Okay. So you're a big Fantastic Four guy, right?
Yeah, Reed Richards. He's like a science guy.
Yeah.
Really into the tech. So he and Tony Stark, they were like my favorites when I was growing up. But because of those reasons. So
right. and they go back to the 60s. That's when they were first debuted. And the interesting rumor about this movie, I don't know if this has been confirmed yet, but it's supposedly going to take place in the 60s, which I think is pretty cool. I'm, I love the MCU, but I'm tired of the same MCU. You know what I mean? Like, I'm ready for something to change. And I think this would be good to have a cool little story that is almost standalone. I'm sure it's going to tie to something else because I'm assuming we're going to see the Fantastic Four show up in some of these Avengers movies like Secret Wars or whatnot. But the Fantastic Four movie rumored to take place in the 60s. They announced some of the casting. So, and some of these were rumors in the past. Like, we announced this rumor here a few weeks back, but it's been confirmed that Pedro Pascal will be Reed Richards in this Fantastic Four movie. Now, I have mixed feelings about this. As an actor, I love Pedro Pascal. I think he's great. So that's part of me goes, this might be a good thing because he's a great actor. The other part of me goes, I don't know that he looks the part.
Right.
And that I think that is a big deal for me. And some fans don't care, right? But like, the Jesse Eisenberg playing Lex Luthor did not look the part at all.
No.
Ben Affleck playing Batman, amazing. Ben Affleck Batman?
I'm struggling with that one. An older Batman, sure.
Older Batman.
Sure.
Yeah. And as Bruce Wayne, literally looks like he came off the pages of the comic. Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr.
Sure.
So there's some that make a lot of sense, some that don't. This one, far as from a look standpoint, I don't see it. As an actor, I think he can pull it off, so I'm kind of torn. How do you feel about this one?
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I'm torn. I mean, I like him as an actor. He's been in some great things, but as Reed Richards, I don't see it. Reed Richards is a kind of a lanky. I mean, not only Reed Richards, but Mr. Fantastic. You're a tall, lanky kind of a character. If you have any kind of bulk and then you're Mr. Fantastic, it just doesn't transition properly. In my mind and based on how I've fashioned Mr. Fantastic in my head over the years. So I'm not feeling it. Him as that character, but he might surprise me.
Yeah, true. The next person that has been confirmed, the next actor was Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, as Miss Invisible.
Okay.
This one, so I trying to think of where I saw her. I know she was in Hobbs and Shaw. I think that's the only movie. I've never seen the Mission Impossible movies, believe it or not. All 11 of them that came out. But she played, I want to say she played Shaw's sister in Hobbs and Shaw with The Rock and Jason Statham. I think she's a decent actor. I think she could pull this one off. I'm actually, if we were doing thumbs up, I'd give this a thumbs up to Vanessa Kirby. How do you feel about that casting?
I mean, I don't really recall ever seeing her in anything. But we'll see. I mean, it can't be any worse than what's her face that played
Jessica
her.
Alba.
Jessica Alba. I mean, Jessica Alba, great actress and all that.
Sure.
Again, miscast.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's not a knock on the actors and actresses, they're artists. I get
right.
it. They're just being casted for a role. And what are they going to do? Turn it down? Hey, I don't look enough like I mean, it's their job. So
right.
You can't knock them. But the directors or whoever's casting. But this one, I guess I'm okay with that one. I think we're 1 for 2. Joseph Quinn. So are you a Stranger Things fan? You ever watch Stranger Things?
I have watched Stranger Things. I think I got through the first season, and then it kind of gets monotonous, and then I just haven't tuned in to anything after that. So
got it. So Stranger Things, I want to say, I don't know if it's 3 or 4. I don't even know how many seasons. But the last season they came out with, the character Eddie Munson was a pretty popular character. Joseph Quinn played Eddie Munson.
Wait, Eddie Munson?
Yeah, Eddie Munson.
Dude, I thought you said Eddie Munster.
Munster.
I was like, wow. Eddie Munster in Stranger Things?
Nope, not that one. That's old school, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're like a tank of knowledge over there, dude. But that is back in the day. So I remember the Munsters. But Eddie Munson was the character. Joseph Quinn's the actor. He is playing Human Torch, Johnny Storm. How do you feel about this guy? You've probably not seen him in anything either. I think he can pull it off. I think based off of now, but I've seen him in Stranger Things. I think Eddie Munson can pull this off.
Anybody can play Johnny Storm. I
Really?
mean, Johnny Storm's a kid in the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Nothing's really special about him. Nothing really stands out. He spends, a lot of his time, being basically a teenager. When the Fantastic Four first came out, Sue had to do a lot of babysitting, basically. So he was a kid with new powers. So pretty much anybody can play him. So I'm not really, I wouldn't be impressed or disappointed or excited about anybody playing Johnny Storm because he's like a C-level superhero character.
Got it. So you're not a big Johnny Storm guy?
Nah.
Dude, as a kid, I loved Johnny Storm just because the idea of, like, the Human Torch that's made of fire, and fire is always, when you're a kid, fire is cool. You want to burn everything,
No, I was always a fan of Firestorm.
Okay.
Firestorm and Nova. Those are my two fire characters in the comic books.
And you can learn more about those on Hidden Gem.
There you go.
Like a good plug right there. It's like we're professionals almost. So we have The Thing rounding out the Fantastic Four, right? Ebon Moss Bachrach, I guess. I'm probably butchering that name, so I've never seen this guy in anything. He does play a role in The Punisher, the Netflix show. He plays Micro. So I've not seen The Punisher yet. You've seen this. Do you remember this guy, Micro?
No, don't remember him. But again, The Thing, Ben Grimm, most of his stuff is in costume. Right. So again, it doesn't really matter who he is. Anything. Except for the guy that played in, I like the actor, the bald head guy. He Shield. He played in Shield when I first saw him. Okay. And he's played in other things, sitcoms and so on and so forth. Yeah. He was a decent Ben Grimm.
Was this in the original Fantastic Four or the remake? Not the one with Michael B. Jordan.
It was the original one.
Okay. Where Chris Evans plays Human Torch.
Correct.
Gotcha.
So, this guy, I mean, he was okay, but he's short. Ben Grimm is kind of like a bigger guy. Yep. So again, it doesn't really matter who plays a Ben Grimm. Yeah. Because actually, it does matter. It doesn't matter what they look like because the acting has to permeate the costume, if that makes any sense. Yeah, in other words, you got to sell me not by how you look as an actor, but by how you convince me that you own that character, The Thing.
Right. Yeah, kind of like, I think of Josh Brolin with Thanos.
Right.
Like, he doesn't look like Thanos from the comics. Right. And Thanos is a massive creature, but he embodied that role. And he, or even like, I think, Robert Pattinson with Batman acting through the mask, stuff like that. Like Batman in a suit. It doesn't. Once you have the mask on, as long as you got a square jawline, does it really matter what you look like?
Right. Or the kid that plays Spider-Man, or anybody that plays Tony Stark, or anybody that plays Deadpool. Yeah. You have to convince me that you are that character by your acting, and not by what I'm looking at on the screen because I can't see your human face.
Right. Now, I saw a rumor the other day about Dr. Doom, and the rumor said that he would not be the main villain in this movie. Is there another Fantastic, like if you're making a Fantastic Four movie origin story, is there another villain you'd slide in there other than Dr. Doom?
I would have somebody low level initially. Because when I think of Fantastic Four villains, I'm thinking Annihilus, I'm thinking Doom, I'm thinking Galactus, I'm thinking there's a lot of top tiers. Yeah. But they're doing a reboot on Fantastic Four, so just kind of let them develop a little bit in this first reboot and bring somebody out like maybe a second stringer kind of a villain, and then come out with a Doom later because Doom is going to or should take over the screen. Yeah, it should be a Doom / Doom with the Fantastic Four, right? As opposed to a Fantastic Four with a supervillain.
Correct. Kind of like you go back to the Nolan Batman films. Joker was in the second movie, not the first.
Exactly.
Scarecrow, very kind of B/C level at the time. The first movie was about Batman. The second movie felt more like a Joker film. Correct. And if they did that in the first movie, Heath would have overshadowed Christian Bale like by miles, and it probably would have been worse than The Dark Knight. In that aspect. All right. Fantastic Four news up next. Marvel rumored, we talked about this earlier, to be working on a Midnight Suns movie. So this is a supernatural, kind of reminds me of like Justice League Dark, okay. It says that the Midnight Suns here were formed by two Ghost Riders, okay, Danny Ketch and Johnny Blaze, after Ghost Rider received a vision in which he learned that Lilith, mother of all demons, was being resurrected and posted a great threat. So basically some leader of demons being resurrected. These two Ghost Riders formed some team. The team consisted of the Night Stalkers, Morbius, Darkhold, who else? Handful of people. Doctor Strange didn't officially join the team, but he did after a certain storyline. So a lot of like mystical magic. So this seems interesting, dude.
Sure.
I'm down with this.
Sure. I would even be down with Nick Cage coming back as
your boy.
as Johnny Blaze. Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Like a Superman crossover. Superman comes meet Johnny. No,
no, just reprise your role as what's his face?
Well, he played Johnny Blaze, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Yep. So, and I actually, do you like those old Ghost Rider movies?
Yeah, they were cool. I mean,
especially for the time.
Exactly. For the time, I mean, if you were to put them up against something today, they would flop, of course.
Right.
I mean, they kind of flopped anyway.
Correct.
But, as far as, production, cinematography, all that kind of, special effects, they were good for what they were for the time that they existed. So.
Right. And I like Nick Cage as Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
I thought it was fun, dude. It was fun. And that's a character that could be a hidden gem because he's a cool character.
Right.
Like, as I was talking about Human Torch as a kid, I always thought Ghost Rider was cool as shit. I mean, dude rides a motorcycle. His face is a skull that's on fire with chains and shit. Like, that's badass.
Right. Pop in and out of hell. Yep. But anyway, just in case he is a hidden gem, let's not go too far.
Yeah, exactly. You can't get that for free now. That's another day here. That's a few weeks from now. But yeah, I'm interested in this, dude. Didn't know a whole lot about Midnight Suns until I heard this rumor, and I'm all for Midnight Suns after hearing that. Much better than doing something like Madam Web or the Thunderbolts. Interesting news here. There was so The Marvels is now streaming on Disney Plus, right? Mm-hmm. We both saw that. I actually thought it was better than most people.
Sure.
I don't think it was a great movie, but it wasn't offensively bad.
Right.
I was able to deal with Brie Larson much better than in the past. Like, I thought she did a better job at portraying Carol Danvers. She didn't seem like she didn't want to be there, at least. Right. So that was cool.
Yeah, I didn't go to the counter and demand my money back like I did with the Eternals.
Dude, there is a pocket of people online that support. They every time we mention something about the Eternals, they're like, Eternals is so overhated. It's underrated, all this shit. Like, no, it's boring. It sucks.
Well, they like the Thor split, too. So, I mean, there's people that, like all kinds of stuff. That's okay.
It is okay.
We'll take you all.
Yep. You think there's people that really like the Thor split?
I'm assuming so. Because, I mean, at least the person that thought of it, right? Yeah.
Taika Waititi loved the Thor split. Yep. So, actually, if you're watching right now and you like the Thor split, let us know. Maybe we'll send you a T-shirt. All right. There was another ending of the film, and this is, I think, what the director said in an interview, where, Darben's actress, Zawe Ashton, the girl with the grills. So she was in an interview, and she said that there was another ending that we did film where Brie and myself are kind of in space, still having it out, and they kind of combust together, which is really amazing. It was just wires hanging, blah, 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 but it was a few different plans. So basically what this sounds like is there was another ending they filmed where Captain Marvel died. They were fighting in space. They both exploded, and then it ended. I'm thinking this may have been the better ending. I don't know. How would you feel if that was
That doesn't make sense to me, though.
Why?
Well, first of all, I mean, they're not going to just kill off Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Darben. Now, I could see where instead of her just entering the sun on her own and lighting it off, they're fighting, and that explosion ignited the sun. Yeah. I could see that.
Okay.
But not something that would end in Captain Marvel's death. So I don't buy that at all, if that's what they're saying.
Well, she's saying they filmed it. Obviously, they didn't use it.
Right.
But I'm going, and this is maybe not for the same reason other people would like this ending, but because I don't like this version of the character, I wish they would have went with that ending. I wish they would have killed her off in the Marvels.
Yeah, maybe it would have been like the Green Lantern Corps, where this version of Carol Danvers dies, and then the bracelets or the suit or whatever floats off and finds somebody else.
Yeah. Now, do you think there's any chance or any reason we would get a Captain Marvel 3?
I could see it as a different person.
Yeah. Okay.
Because there's been different Captain Marvels, and there's been different variations. Obviously, we got 3 in the same movie, right? Basically, so I would see a different variant, but I don't think I will see another Carol Danvers version.
I don't think so either.
Maybe Gaia come back and don't don the suit, change colors every time she moves or something.
Dude, that should be like a bet we have on here. Where is Gaia gonna show up next?
Oh man, that would be awful, dude. If she shows up anywhere, I think I don't care where it is.
Maybe she's gonna be the main villain for Fantastic Four.
Oh man.
Oh shit. Now here's another. I mean, just thinking about the Fantastic Four, if it takes place in the 60s, but we've seen a lot of time travel lately. What are the chances that somebody time travels back and runs into them? I mean, it could happen.
Deadpool.
There you go.
Why not?
Right. Hey. All right. Another rumor, or not a rumor, something that's been confirmed. Marvel Studios delays some movies. Actually swapped release dates for a couple movies. So the Thunderbolts originally was going to be released July 25th of 25. That is now moved up to May 2nd of 2025. And the Fantastic Four movie that we were talking about was in that spot originally. That has now been moved back to July. So they moved Fantastic Four back 2 months, almost 3, and moved Thunderbolts up. So I wonder if this has maybe Thunderbolts, I was going to say maybe it takes place before that, but that's not the case because Fantastic Four takes place in the 60s. I wonder why they moved these back. Maybe they're focusing more on Fantastic Four. Maybe there's some rewrites and reshoots, but it's just kind of odd that they swapped them.
I'm not excited about either one of them. I mean, obviously I watched Fantastic Four before I watched the Thunderbolts. I've even forgotten what they're about at this point. But I'm more curious as to why they're putting the Fantastic Four back in the 60s or 70s or whenever they're gonna that timeline. So
now here's another piece of this: the Fantastic Four is supposed to be launching Phase 6. So maybe that's why they're moving it back, because this is going to be the first movie of Phase 6, and it's going to maybe the Thunderbolts is not going to tie into that. I don't know. The Thunderbolts is basically Marvel's wannabe Suicide Squad, which I don't know who. Now, the what's her name? Allegra DeFontaine. She, I believe, is going to be kind of like the Samuel L. Jackson or the Nick Fury of this, putting this team together. Then you have Winter Soldier. You have Yelena, Black Widow's sister. You got I even think the Red Guardian dude's coming back. Black Widow's like stepdad or whatever the fuck he is. So it's just kind of a ragtag group of like half villains, half heroes getting together. It'll want to be Suicide Squad, which I don't think it's needed.
I agree. It's like, just why? Focus on other things. It's like they focus on the C's and the D's, trying to bring those up instead of the B's, which are our hidden gems, and promoting them.
Absolutely.
So because they can't stand on their own, they're just going to make one whole movie about them, which is probably going to flop.
Yeah, and I think Blade has even been pushed back as well. So there's a reboot to Blade. So this is now going to be released in November after the Fantastic Four. So then we're getting to some vampires. So Blade and then the Midnight Suns, I can see some connection there, the whole supernatural vampire demon. So I'm actually looking forward to this Blade movie.
Okay.
Mahershala Ali is playing Blade.
I was until you said that. You reminded me of that. I'm just not seeing it, but that doesn't mean it won't be successful.
Sure.
In my mind, the only person that's ever done it right was, my man Wesley. But we'll see. We'll see. Now, about the Fantastic Four, I'm wondering if it's going to be based entirely in the 60s or 60s or the 70s.
60s, they're saying.
In the 60s, or is it going to open in the 60s because they did some time traveling back and part of the movie is going to be in the present day?
There you go.
So it's like they're going to start out in the 60s and then they're going to, because they're like lost. Because Reed Richards, I mean, you walk into one of his rooms and he's got machines that are popping through time, through dimensions, universe, multiverse, all kinds of stuff. So I could see that.
Yeah. Yeah, and you look at what comes out before that, because is there going to be some big problem or big threat in the MCU that we see that maybe the Fantastic Four need to come to the future to help with, but I don't know if there's enough coming out, because you have Deadpool and Wolverine coming out this year, and then the next movie before that is the Thunderbolts, and that's it. then it's Fantastic Four in July. Everything else is coming out after that. So, and I don't know when Captain America 4 is supposed to come out. I've heard there's a ton of reshoots on that. They've kind of redone half the movie because they weren't happy with where it was going.
Of course not.
No, yeah, I mean, God. So right now, the Phase 6 movies that are confirmed, Fantastic Four, July 25th, Blade, November 7th, and this is all of 2025. There's an untitled Marvel movie, February 13th of 26. Avengers Kang Dynasty, May 1st of 26. There's 2 more untitled movies confirmed. One comes out July 24th, 26. The other's November 11th, 26. And then Avengers Secret War, May 7th, 27. So that's all confirmed right now. There's still movies like the next Spider-Man movie. That's going to be they're not going to wait till 2027 to take advantage of another Spider. I mean, that's their A-list guy right now. There's also, we mentioned Eternals. Supposedly there's an Eternals 2 for some reason.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's Armor Wars that has also been confirmed to be moved into a movie. I don't know when that's coming. Shang-Chi 2 and then Doctor Strange 3 are all movies that could be some of these unnamed movies. So who knows? But I'm looking forward to the Fantastic Four. Because it moves us away from just the Avengers. We talked about this with the X-Men, right? Like I think this is a good segue into bringing. Obviously, we got Wolverine with Deadpool, then Fantastic Four, so we can start seeing the entire Marvel universe, not just the Avengers. Sure. So I'm excited for that reason.
Yeah. So I am too. But did you say there was some Kang Dynasty?
King Dynasty is still the name
That's
of the
going to
movie.
be interesting.
Yeah,
that's going to be interesting to see. But I would also love that. Let's move away from the Avengers.
Yep.
We are moving into the Fantastic Four. So let's also do, the X-Men thing that we talked about. Yep. Let's also do some Alpha Flight. And then let's also do some villain groups.
Yes.
All the boy bands can be good boy bands.
Well, Brotherhood of Mutants is a rumor movie, which I would love to see.
Absolutely, I agree. I'd love to see that too. Yep. So the X-Men rivals. What was that group?
That was it, brother. Magneto's group was Brotherhood of Mutants.
Right, but I'm talking about the magician, and not the magician, the witches.
Oh,
the
Hellfire Club. Yes. Sebastian Shaw.
Yep.
Even Emma Frost was with them at one point. Yep.
I love to see them too.
Yeah.
So
that was one aspect I really liked about X-Men First Class was we saw Hellfire Club in there, and Kevin Bacon played Sebastian Shaw, right? Which I thought his portrayal was pretty good. It was just, this movie also took place in the 60s, I believe. So, I mean, who knows? Are we going to see the X-Men cross paths with Fantastic Four if they both take place in this? I mean, there's so many opportunities or potential for so much for them to do. It's just, I wish they would just be bold and do some of this shit.
Right.
Just do it. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, you're putting out shit to a degree anyway. Right. So if you mess up, then it's okay. It's okay. It's a speed bump on the road to getting somewhere, and let's just move on.
Exactly. All right. Spawn. So in other news, Spawn creator Todd McFarlane confirms that Jamie Foxx and Jeremy Renner are still tied to the Spawn reboot. So years ago, there was a rumor that Jamie Foxx was going to play Spawn. Okay. Al Simmons, which I think he would do great at that. I know he had some health issues recently, but from what he's announced, he's doing fine now.
Jamie or
Jamie
Al?
Foxx did.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I don't know who Jeremy Renner's supposed to play. He also had some health. He got into an accident with a snowplow last winter and had to learn how to walk. And he was really messed up.
Maybe P. Diddy wanted to roll and try to kill both of them.
P. Diddy. I think he's got other legal issues to worry about right now.
Oh, my God. That was so stupid.
God. So they asked. We talked about this movie recently, though, because Todd McFarlane basically said that the studio has 1 year to get this movie done. If not, he's going to take his ball and go play somewhere else.
Right.
But he believes that Joker 2 will help Spawn get launched. And I was like, this is interesting.
What?
Because Joker 2 is a rated R comic movie.
Okay.
Spawn is going to be a rated R movie. I don't even know that they're in the same studio. I think they're different studios. Because I think Blumhouse has the Spawn rights, and then obviously DC, has Joker. So he's thinking that if this movie does well, the studio Blumhouse will be more apt to put out a rated R comic movie, allegedly.
I mean, have you seen Deadpool?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, at all? I mean, Spawn and Joker shouldn't even be said in the same sentence. I don't get the correlation.
No, me neither. But now I'm all for. I guess the pieces that I do like is that Jamie Foxx is still tied to it because when I first heard that, I'm like that would be good on screen. I believe. I think Jamie Foxx would kill it. I mean he's been in a few comic movies. Been in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, and then he was in No Way Home, where I think he did a really shitty job at playing Electro, and then he redeemed himself in No Way Home. And that could have been more of the director's decision to portray it that way. Right. So anyway, but I don't know, Todd, if that is. I don't know how one has anything effect on the other because to Adrian's point, we've already seen rated R movies do very well that are so. But I think go back to what you originally said. Give Blumhouse whatever their deadline, and if not, go finance the shit yourself because
exactly.
It's like. Blumhouse, you're sitting on a gold mine. Spawn is an amazing character, great stories. We haven't seen anything like it on screen before. It's very different than the Marvel stuff. It's very different than DC shit. I mean, he's a hellspawn. Like, he's pretty much dead. Like, it's very. I think it's very intriguing. And they could do a lot with it. So you're sitting on a gold mine, and I agree with what we said in the past, Todd. If they're not going to finance it, go somewhere else. I don't think the Joker 2 is going to help you though. All right. So, Adrian, at the end of our news and rumors, we like to do a little thumbs up, thumbs down. So we're going to recap our news segment and just simply give that piece of news or rumor a thumbs up or thumb down. So, Fantastic Four cast revealed. I'm going to give this a thumbs up. Overall, I'm going to give it a thumbs up. How about you?
Going with the title, Fantastic Four cast revealed. I'm going to do a thumbs up in the fact that the Fantastic Four is coming out.
Yes.
Don't necessarily agree with the main character, the casting, but thumbs up overall.
Got it. MCU movies swap release dates. Thunderbolts will hit the studios earlier than the Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four pushed back 2 months. I'm giving this a thumbs down.
Thumb down. Don't care.
No. Who the hell wants to see the Thunderbolts? If you're watching this and you want to see the Thunderbolts, please let us know why, and then maybe get checked out. Right. So, next up, the Marvels alternate ending. There was a rumored alternate ending to the Marvels where Captain Marvel and Dar-Ben both pretty much implode in space together. I'm going to give this a thumbs down because I wish y'all would have used that ending so we wouldn't have to see Captain Marvel anymore.
Thumbs down because I don't want to watch any part of that movie again.
Midnight Suns movie rumored. I'm giving this a huge thumbs up. This sounds intriguing. I hope this is one they actually go through with.
Right. Also a thumbs up.
And then last piece of news, Spawn reboot update. Jamie Foxx, Jeremy Renner still attached to the movie. I'm giving this is kind of a two-part thing. I'm giving that a thumbs up. Sure. But then Todd McFarlane thinks that the Joker's success will help him get his movie produced by Blumhouse. I'm giving that a thumbs down. I think it has anything to do with that.
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
There you go. Well, there you have it. Now, you all, first, hit the like button and subscribe button so you know where to find us each week here on Only Comics. But also, let us know if you agree and what would you give a thumbs up or thumbs down to. Next up, Adrian, we got your segment, fan favorite here. It's called Hidden Gem. You can look back at our Hidden Gem playlist. We were talking about Dr. Doom earlier. There was a week where we talked about Dr. Doom, Nova. There's all kind. We've had who else have we had on there? We've had The Guardian, right? We've had not Hal Jordan. We had John Stewart, Green Lantern,
Gladiator.
We had
Firestorm.
Who's the one from Alpha Flight we had?
The Guardian.
The Guardian was Alpha Flight. Yep. So check out that playlist. And this week, Adrian, who do you have on Hidden Gem?
Well, this week, since we're talking about the Fantastic Four, my second favorite character from the group, Sue Storm.
Okay.
The Invisible Girl. Now, she's a hidden gem because, when they first brought her out back in the 60s, I mean, they also did this whole Leave It to Beaver kind of women in their place kind of a, vibe.
Yeah.
So she did like a lot of housekeeping, not literally housekeeping, but, she had to watch out after, her brother who was growing up through his stuff, plus his powers, all the mom stuff. And she really got taken through, the ropes throughout her Marvel character career.
Yeah.
But Sue Storm, what makes her special to me is that I think her powers are underrated. She has the the ability primarily to make herself invisible, right? By basically bending light, using cosmic energy to bend light, the light spectrum.
Okay.
But she also has the ability to make other things, other people, other objects invisible.
Really?
As a matter of fact, she can, well, besides making, she can make herself entirely invisible, or she can make parts of herself invisible. But she can make other things invisible as well. She can create a bubble, basically, and she can extend that bubble. She's almost like a Green Lantern, where she can create objects, whatever objects she can conceive in her mind, she can make it. Nobody sees the shape of the object or sees the object, but she can see the object, which allows her to create them. Now, she can create fully solid objects like my man, the Green Lantern, John Stewart, or she can create kind of hollow objects, which is what most Green Lanterns do. The bigger the object, the thinner it is, per se. So she can make a bubble that's 20 feet in diameter that's solid, but she can also make a bubble that's a mile, in diameter, but it's only going to be, say, 12 inches thick.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So the bigger the object, the thinner it is. She can make objects that are rigid and durable. She can make things that are elastic. So she can also engulf the entire planet. She can make the entire planet invisible.
Really?
So her power extends to that degree. Again, she can make other objects. She can make, whatever shape that she wants, use them. She can throw them at you, that kind of thing. But the interesting part about, the cool part about it is, like, if she wanted to be like a little assassin, because she can actually create these objects, these invisible objects inside of other objects. She can cause you like an embolism by blocking your blood flow, or creating a ball inside of your head and exploding and expanding it, therefore, blowing your head up or something like that. The downfall of her creating object, especially like for protection, if somebody was shooting a bullet at her, she's kind of tied to those objects. So, for example, if a car was coming toward her at 60 miles an hour, and she created a force field, when that car hit that force field, it would be as if she got hit by that car.
Okay.
So that's kind of the downside of it.
Is that with anything she creates? So if she creates like a barrier, her and Mr. Fantastic are invisible, there's a little barrier over that, and someone hits that barrier, it's like hitting her?
Correct.
Got it.
Correct.
Okay.
But she can, I guess over time with training, because she has been trained outside of those capabilities, in martial arts and things like that. So, it's a very cool power. Some other things, she can levitate by engulfing herself in one of these spheres. Yeah. And she can, travel through space, not literal space, but through the air. Not some crazy speed, but like 25, 30 miles an hour. But the point of it is that, like, if she needs to get to the top of a building, she can do that. If she falls from a building, she can protect herself. Yeah. Things like that. So, but she has, as the wife of Reed Richards, her and Reed Richards had all kinds of issues. Reed, he's like one of those mad scientists. He goes into a room and he disappears for months at a time. They've had all kind of, marital stuff. Yeah. Miscarriage, children.
She had a little something with Namor too, wasn't that her little side boo?
Yeah, she had something because of Reed's absence, right?
Oh shit.
So she kind of like hooked up with Namor for a little while. He actually, at some point, then she went back to Reed. Yeah. And then he came back and tried to kidnap her and make her queen of Atlantis with him.
He'll do that.
So, yeah, he'll
he
do
tried
that.
it with Shuri, too. In the
whole
movie.
different things.
Yeah.
But, so all of that stuff, but they multi-dimensional jumping, space jumping, just all kinds of stuff. But it's like the thing that gave them the Fantastic Four their power, the cosmic rays, it also kind of ties them together. So they can like drift apart, but that cosmic energy kind of like brings them back together. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, if they're like in the same universe, right, they have their power. The power is consistent. But if they go to like different universes, the longer they stay together apart, they can actually lose their power.
Really?
Yeah. So it's kind of they're kind of bound by that kind of stuff.
Yep. Wow. So I read this somewhere that Ms. Sue Storm is the most powerful member of the Fantastic Four. Do you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely, because she can bind thing.
Yeah.
Or just enclose him in a bubble and he'll just run out of air. Same thing with Johnny Storm. She's extinguished him because she got possessed by, I forget who it was, and she turned into like this like a malevolent or like some evil version of herself. Okay. And she just went out, dude. She just kind of wrapped himself around her. Yeah. And she turned into like spikes. So she can, I mean, just by cutting off the air, she can destroy all of them. Yeah. Right. So it's not about the strength or all this other kind of stuff, but just that capability alone, shutting people off from air. Yeah. Makes her the more powerful of the Fantastic Four. Wow. Now, the thing about her force fields, the objects, they can't be penetrated by sound.
They can or they can't?
Can. Okay. So say like a mockingbird. I know that's DC, but say like with a scream can penetrate that. Huh. So that's one of the weaknesses. But when she cloaks herself, when she surrounds herself with this field, she's also invulnerable to like psychic attacks. Like say Jean Grey. Yeah. She can prevent Jean Grey from like attacking her or reading her mind. And also if she surrounds a psychic person, she can prevent them from using their power. Yeah. Right? Also, if there's something that is invisible, if something is invisible that's been rendered invisible by some other means, she can cloak that in a field and make it visible again. Okay. Kind of a thing. Yeah. So a very cool power set. I think that not only is she a very cool character to portray, but she could be easily put into any movie because basically all you got to do is as far as special effects, you don't have to really show her. You don't have to. There's no light show. Right. You just show her moving things or affecting things or making things invisible. Like, Sue Storm, make the planet invisible. Okay, the planet is invisible now. Right. You don't have to do like a Galactus black cloud tornado thing going.
Yeah, please don't.
So, but anyway, that's the hidden gem for this week. Nice. Sue Storm. Since we're talking about the Fantastic Four, I think she's a very, very cool character. Yeah. Thing and Torch, I don't really care. No. But Mr. Fantastic, Sue Storm, I think they're cool. But this week's hidden gem, the Invisible Girl.
And I just realized I was calling her Ms. Invisible. It's Invisible Woman or Invisible Girl, right? Like, right. I screwed that up. I think originally it was Invisible Girl, right? And then now they call her Invisible Woman because she's grown.
Or because she's grown. Yeah. Or Sue Storm. Yeah. Or Mrs. Richards. Yeah. Or when they went into sabbatical, they were the Baxters. So all kinds of stuff.
That's right. Yeah. Now, I think this is a good segue, Adrian, to discuss the Fantastic Four. Okay. So we'll kind of switch things up a little bit. We'll do a little deep dive into the Fantastic Four. Then we'll get to agree to disagree, and we'll wrap with talking about two of the big trailers that came out this week. So you started talking about their origin a little bit, which I always thought was real cool and intriguing. Like, and they're a family. Like, Sue Storm and Johnny Storm, brother and sister, right? Right. And then Reed Richards went to college with Ben Grimm. They were roommates, I believe. Correct. So they've all, it wasn't like, they became a team like the X-Men and then met each other. They were a unit prior to this, right? And do you know how Sue and Reed Richards met?
So Reed was like a next door neighbor kind of a deal. Okay. And he went off to college, and Sue basically fell in love with him and pursued him. Got it. So that's how they hooked up. And then when they got to college, they met Ben Grimm, who became their quote-unquote pilot. And then Johnny was the little brother of Sue, and he just kind of came along. Got it. So I just find it interesting that, at some point, so Reed, he developed a faster than light spaceship. Yeah. Right? He started to. Lost funding for it, eventually finished it, which is why they ended up in space. But it's like, why do you bring your girlfriend? I can understand, your roommate that's the pilot, right?
Yep.
But why bring your girlfriend and her little brother along with you?
Right.
I mean, that's just abusive.
Yeah, yeah. Man, but so it sounds like, as the kids would say, Reed Richards has Riz, Adrian, because he left for college and Sue Storm pursued him. Okay. So there you go. So I'm in touch with the kids, Adrian. I know these things. So I'll help bring you up to speed. Okay. You bring me up to speed with some of the deep comic knowledge. I'll tell you what the cool kids are saying. Okay.
Right.
So Reed Richards has Riz. Okay. So I always like their origin though. And it's funny because it kind of parallels the Phoenix origin with Jean. Jean, the X-Men are on some mission to space. They encounter, and I mean, there's different versions of it, but they encounter some cosmic force. This force is the Phoenix, and it embodies or takes, it kind of becomes symbiote with Jean Grey. And now she's a Phoenix, right? Fantastic Four, Reed Richards, at least the origin I remember, he built a spaceship, and he was kind of like on a test run, like wanted to test this thing out, right? He's Elon Musk. He's like, I'm gonna throw my Tesla in space real quick. Right. Brings, to your point, his girlfriend, his college buddy, and her little brother. Because screw it, why not? You come along with us,
exactly.
And then they encounter some. Is it an explosion or cosmic? Like somehow they get they encounter cosmic energy and receive powers.
Well, what it was is there was like a burst of cosmic energy above and beyond anything that was calculated or expected, and they got kind of caught up in it. Now, if you want to go into the conspiracy theory, the reason that this kind of made sense is that supposedly, no one's ever gone to the moon, right? And the reason that they haven't gone to the moon is because around the Earth, assuming that you even believe that it's round and not flat, right?
Yeah, we know that goes on the internet.
There's a radiation belt around the Earth that is so intense that we can't even get through it. That's between us and the moon.
Okay.
So there's no shielding on Earth that can get through this, which is why nobody's ever gone to the moon, according to conspiracy theory.
Got it.
But it's like they took that conspiracy theory and made this solar radiation burst thing that made them the Fantastic Four.
Okay. Got it. So, but you're not saying people didn't go to the moon. You're saying that's what they are saying.
Oh, I'm not saying that at all.
That's one though that makes you wonder, dude.
Right? What our Arsenio used to say, the things that make you go,
Absolutely.
Dude, I really just showed my age right
there. Yeah, you did. I mean, hey, I know Arsenio Hall. There's a lot of viewers going, I don't know who Arsenio Hall is. No idea. Have you ever seen Chappelle's show? He's the guy complaining about the cheese. Remember that skit? Why you didn't tell me how good the cheese was? The Fantastic Four. So they kind of crash land, right?
Yep.
And then
they crash land back on
to Earth.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and at this point is when they discover they have powers in most versions, right?
Correct.
Like all of a sudden Reed's stretching out, Sue's invisible, Johnny Storm catches on fire, Thing gets this rock crust or whatever the hell you want to call it. But they basically, and then from there how do they go from that to becoming a superhero team?
Well, I think it was they pretty much went back into their roles.
Yeah.
Reed being the scientist, obviously there was some time where they had to figure out, how to deal with these powers.
Yeah.
And because, Ben was he spent the most time in therapy because obviously he's just this mud ball.
Yeah, it messed him up psychologically.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, he can't change. Everybody else looks the same.
Right.
Right. But they have these powers where they can control them or not.
Yeah.
So he mopes around. So they became a unit, and Reed is doing what he's doing, and because he's such a genius, right? He's making all these devices and gadgets and machines and stuff. So money is never an object for them.
Right.
So they kind of isolate themselves. They learn how to deal with their powers. Of course, Suze is popping in and out of invisibility.
Yeah.
Reed walks around, and all of a sudden he's a puddle on the floor. Johnny's burning shit down.
Yeah.
and Ben's over, smashing all the mirrors in the house because he don't like what he sees. So
yeah. Yeah. So I mean, characters that they could do a lot with in the MCU.
Absolutely.
There's so much depth to these, and I feel like a lot of times you don't see that with these because everyone focuses on just their powers, right? Oh, his Human Torch is on fire, cool. Or the Thing is like another Hulk almost. But to your point, he really struggles with his appearance, and and he also makes him angry. He's very short-tempered.
Right.
And he's also provided a lot of comic relief with that temper, too, in a lot of stories, you know?
Well, the thing about it is Johnny is always messing with him.
Yes.
You know, always joking around with him, you know, making him feel worse about what he does. So, you know, they'll destroy a whole wing of the Baxter building because, you know, the thing is running around trying to, you know, catch Johnny Storm.
Yeah.
But the important thing about the thing is that, you know, ultimately, the only thing that kind of calms him down is that he meets Alicia. And of course, Alicia's blind, so she doesn't even know what he looks like. But, you know, she can touch his face, and she's not repulsed by him the way he thinks that everybody else is. So they become a thing, not the thing, but they become a couple. Yeah. Right. So that was pretty cool that he kind of found some kind of way to basically not off himself. Because he had this relationship with this person who became very important to him.
Right.
You know?
And also, didn't Reed Richards kind of blame? He took it was his fault in his mind, the failed mission.
Sure.
Why? So that's something he also struggled with.
Right. But of course, you know, Johnny's a kid. He thinks it's cool.
Yeah.
Right? You know, so he don't really give a shit.
Right.
But, you know, again, because Ben is really the only one that was physically, and I think at some point he was able to revert back to his human form, but then he actually chose to be the Thing at one point again. So all that, you know, flapjacking around.
Right. But yeah, but in fairness though, Johnny Storm probably had the coolest looking powers. Sure. Right? Like, I mean, Reed Richards, it doesn't look cool, honestly, when he's all stretched out. Like, it's kind of weird, especially when they do it on screen. So I'm really interested to see how they're going to portray that on screen and not have it look strange.
It could be weird. He at some point they actually lose the Baxter building.
Yeah.
They lose all their money and they move out to, you know, Connecticut for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And become like normal people. Reed Richards, because he's so famous, right? He actually uses his powers to change his face, so it literally becomes another person.
Okay.
So, and he goes and teaches like college, classes and stuff like that. So it was pretty interesting.
And they're one of the, you know, few groups in Marvel where they don't have secret identities.
Correct.
Everyone knows who they are.
Correct.
You know, not like X-Men or, I mean, some X-Men you can, but like, you know, Spider-Man, no one knows. For a long time, you didn't know who Iron Man was.
Right.
You know, so that was interesting too, that they were just out in the open with it.
Right. Right. But they had such security measures, you know, around the Baxter building, because Reed literally bought the entire building. Because it was funny. One of the comics was the owner of the building was always bitching about, you know, Reed's experiments and this exploding and the noise and the humming and the vibrating. And then Reed just wrote him a check one time, and the guy just went away.
It's like some Tony Stark shit right
Exactly,
there.
exactly.
And they've crossed paths a lot in comics, you know, Tony and Reed Richards. And I feel like we were talking about this the other day, you know, offline, but the Fantastic Four, to me, has been treated as sideline characters for a while in Marvel Comics. Like, I just finished the Devil's Reign story, which is great, by the way, if you guys have not read it. But they're featured in there, but just very small, like Thing, humans, they're just kind of like, you know, part of the whole crew. I don't feel like they focus enough. I think the whole, you know, as a whole, they're a hidden gem.
Right.
And hopefully, I really hope MCU, you guys can give them the Avengers treatment.
Sure.
You should do the same with Fantastic Four, do that with X-Men, and you can run these stories for another 20 years.
Right.
You know, you have the stuff there. There's a rumor. So in the MCU, we had remember Tony Stark bought the tower in New York and then converted it to Avengers Tower.
Right.
And then in Spider-Man Homecoming, he sold the building. They moved to that complex in upstate New York where they had the big Endgame battle. So someone bought the building. We don't know who. It has not been announced in the MCU yet. One of the rumors at the time was the Fantastic Four bought it, and it's now the Baxter building. That would be cool. There was the other rumor was that Norman Osborn bought it, and now it's Oscorp. So I think this
that would
will
make
come
more
up
sense
again.
to me. That would make more sense to me that it becomes Oscorp, because the Baxter building is it's an existing structure.
Yeah,
it's already called the Baxter building somewhere in New York. You don't like take the Stark building and call it the Baxter building.
Right.
So having Osborn have it, that would make more sense to me.
Yeah. And I was just reading here, Baxter builds 35-story office building. I think Stark Tower was probably 3 times the size of that.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that would not make sense. But yeah, I would lean more towards the Oscorp. Yep.
Oscorp.
So before we move on, a couple big supporting characters, I guess, in the Fantastic Four universe. One of their main villains, Doctor Doom, we've talked about. But we talked about Galactus, but we've not mentioned yet Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer shows up in a lot of Fantastic Four stories. He was in the second Fantastic Four movie years ago, which, I mean, for the time, the movie was like mid, maybe. Like I thought they did a decent job with Silver. Like he was pretty damn powerful in that movie.
Sure.
Just wasn't a great movie. But you a big Silver Surfer fan?
Not a big Silver Surfer fan, but of course he was, to me, was the original Herald, even though there were other Heralds before.
Yep. Who's the female one you did in Hidden Gem a few weeks back?
Nova.
The female Nova.
The female Nova, right? She was actually Johnny Storm's girlfriend.
Yeah.
So Frankie Ray was her name. And she decided to do that. I forget why. But then, of course, Johnny, butthurt because she left and tried to pursue her. Yeah. And she starts flying up into space. And, of course, Frankie Ray's Nova's power is cosmic.
Yeah.
Johnny's, flame and air.
Right.
So at some point, he becomes a person again because all his flames go out.
Yeah, there's no oxygen.
And so he just passes out and starts falling back to the earth. I think Reed had to catch him or something like that. So that was interesting. But the thing about it is she just bounced, dude. She was like,
she's out.
Bump all this. I don't need just I'm out.
But I'd be excited to have a Silver Surfer on screen again and done the right way because I think it's a really cool character.
Another villain of the Fantastic Four, but also a herald of Galactus, is Terrax.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever heard of him.
No.
He's like his powers is like he rides around like a Silver Surfer rides around on a surfboard.
Yep.
This dude rides around on rocks, right? On rock. Like a giant boulder, right?
Okay.
And his power is basically he can manipulate any form of Earth.
Yeah.
So he goes around with this big cosmic axe, destroying stuff. He's just psycho.
Yeah.
But he, so he really didn't care about stuff. So I think he came later, like after Frankie Ray. I'm not sure. I'm not sure the sequence, but I know there were heralds before Galactus.
Yeah.
And there were heralds. Heralds before.
Silver Surfer.
There were heralds before Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
And there was heralds after him.
Got it.
Even though he never, it just seems like these guys, they never lose their powers though. Galactus doesn't take the power away from them.
No.
So
he just fires them.
Exactly.
So there may be a tie to the Thunderbolts. So we talked about the Baxter Building. Okay. There. Excuse me. In the comics, the Baxter Building was replaced by Four Freedoms Plaza at the same location after it was destroyed by Christoph Bernard. You know who that is. Anyways, eventually, the Pier 4, a waterfront warehouse, was a temporary headquarters for the Fantastic Four.
Yep. That
headquarters was destroyed by the Thunderbolts. In Revelation, they were some supervillain team, Masters of Evil in disguise. Well, basically, they had a battle with somebody, destroyed their building. So I'm wondering if that's how they're going to tie them here and tie them together in the MCU. Maybe that's why the Thunderbolts is coming out first. Who knows? But so there is a little tie there. I've never heard of Thunderbolts until recently. Is this news to you?
Dude, that would be a sad tie-in. That's like, let's introduce this cop because he had to show up on the scene because somebody threw a paper wrapper on the ground. I mean, come on, dude. Yeah. So you're going to create a whole movie out of a team that nobody cares about.
Yeah.
Because the Fantastic Four had a building that got destroyed by them. I don't even.
That's just me throwing out the only connection I saw. So it's not on Marvel. They did not report that yet, but could happen. Who knows? I mean, we've seen dumber shit in the MCU, right? So
Eternals.
Yeah. We talked about Reed Richards' kind of whole mentality. We talked about Sue Storm. Now Johnny Storm, he was a teenager, right, when this first happened, and then, like you said, he was excited to get the powers.
Sure.
And he was annoying. Yeah. Like, he was obnoxious. Like you said, he used to annoy the shit out of the thing. Mm-hmm. But he was your typical, I guess, if you were a teenager and got these badass powers, you probably would be somewhat of an asshole.
Right.
Fair? Like,
yep, fair.
And I think, that would be cool to see. So and that's why I say this dude who played Eddie Munson could pull that off. Because he played that character. His character in Stranger Things was like lovable, but also annoying and obnoxious at the same time, which is kind of Johnny Storm in a nutshell.
Like I said, anybody could play Johnny. Nothing special about him.
Tom Cruise can't play Johnny.
Well, okay, so I retract my statement. Not anybody can play Johnny Storm. But I could care less who the character is. Who the actor is.
Well, there you have it. Fantastic Four. I'm looking forward to this movie.
Sure.
We said, next year, 2025, be here probably before you know it. By then, I think we'll have our Dunkin' sponsorship, and we'll be much further than we are right now. But
no, not Dunkin'. The company who shall remain anonymous. Yeah. we can't name names yet.
You know who you are. You think America runs on you. All right, next up, Adrian, fan favorite segment here, according to some fans. And actually, we got to celebrate here. I don't know what we're going to do to celebrate, but we had one of our TikTok videos last week hit 1 million views. So thank all you viewers for chiming in. Bunch of comments, bunch of likes, some dislikes. We're okay. But we appreciate the interaction, appreciate the views. So keep it coming. So 1 million. So congratulations, Adrian.
Yeah. Congratulations to you, man. You're the brains behind this operation.
Know, man.
I'm just a guest. I just show up and get the Dunk coffee whenever it shows up.
So I'm like Reed Richards. You're the thing.
No.
All right. So agree to disagree. This is where I rapid fire 10. I have 10 this week. Sometimes there's more. Sometimes there's less. I don't know. One thing you'll learn about Only Comics, there's not a lot of rules here, really.
We're fluid.
Yeah, we are. We are comic fluid. Definitely. And we are not experts, as some of our viewers have passionately pointed out.
Right.
But we've never claimed to be experts either.
That's right.
So, agree to disagree. You ready?
I'm ready.
I'm going to rapid fire 10 of my opinions at Adrian. He's going to let me know if he agrees or disagrees, but then the real fun starts when we stop and you all chime in with some of your tomfoolery and or love, or sometimes just straight up bullshit, to be honest. But it's okay. We encourage it. All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Number 1, Deadpool and Wolverine will hit $1 billion at the box office.
Agree.
Taylor Swift should make a cameo as Dazzler in Deadpool and Wolverine.
I agree.
And that contradicts exactly what we said last week.
Exactly.
Usher was the wrong choice for the Super Bowl halftime show this year.
Absolutely, dude. That was disrespectful, dude.
Who the fuck said I want to see Usher perform at the Super Bowl? Like, I want to know who you are. Why? Usher? Dude, I loved Usher in, like, the 90s.
Sure.
But holy shit, dude. I mean, was, like, Travis Scott not available? Well, I mean, there's plenty of people that,
well, besides, there was plenty of people there, and Usher, dude. Stop with the hands, man. It's not yours. Just leave it alone.
Yeah, then the whole blue, the black. He looked like a superhero. I don't know if he was trying to audition for maybe the Thunderbolts.
You notice he's wearing glasses. You know why they do that, right?
Why?
Because the eyes are so either bloodshot or so many bags. Your eyes show your age.
Yeah. He was trying to look 20, even though he's not. But hey,
why did he take his shirt off?
I don't know, dude. I don't know. The best was, like, there's videos of, he's performing, he's killing it, and the crowd, they're doing this. No one's even reacting. Like, the best hat. I know you said it's the first Super Bowl you've seen in a long time. The best one in the past probably 4 or 5 years was Dr. Dre, Eminem, 50 Cent, that whole crew when they were in L.A. That was cool. I'd even take pregnant Rihanna over fucking Usher.
Right.
Like, holy shit.
I actually did see both of those halftime shows. I just didn't watch the entire game.
Got it. All right, so we get a little sidetracked here. We'll get back on agree to disagree. So you agree that Usher was the wrong choice for this?
Absolutely. Agree.
All right. Number 4, Hulk would whip things ass.
Oh, agree.
Number 5, Reed Richards is smarter than Tony Stark.
Disagree.
Ooh. Number 6, Tony Stark has more riz than Reed Richards.
I agree.
The 7 would destroy the Fantastic Four.
I agree.
All right. Number 7, The Rock's Black Adam should have been a villain.
Agree.
Batman Begins is better than Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Agree.
The next Fantastic Four movie will be better than the first 3.
Agree.
All right. There you have it. Those are our 10. I had to go back to one of them here. So The Rock, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm a big WWE guy, right? So The Rock made a return to WWE about a month ago.
Oh, did he?
Yes, he did. He's shooting to have a match with his cousin Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Roman Reigns been champion for like 3 years. Big match, right?
Yeah.
And then the fans shitted all over it because there's a fan favorite, this dude Cody Rhodes.
Okay.
They want him to face Roman Reigns because wrestling fans are probably more passionate than comic fans. Like, you know how comic fans will terrorize people online? Like, this guy's not – they do the same shit, right?
Oh, wow.
So there was all kinds of backlash. Rock's supposed to be playing a good guy. Fans are booing him. So I got to give credit to The Rock and everyone involved. They flipped the script. The Rock had turned – as in the wrestling world, Adrian's called turning heel. Okay, you got a babyface is a good guy, heel's a bad guy.
Okay.
So The Rock turned heel. He's now the bad guy. He's talking shit to the fans. It's hysterical. And they're eating it up. So when I saw that, I'm like, damn, imagine if he would have had that same mentality with Black Adam.
Well, I think he has a little bit more control over himself as a wrestler than he does in a production environment.
Well, the rumor is that it was his decision to make Black Adam an anti-hero versus a villain. So I think he had a lot of influence on that movie. And I do know that they wanted him to play the villain because they wanted him to show up in Shazam as a villain. He didn't want to. So the rumor is Rock kind of forced his way or forced Black Adam to be more of a hero, which I think partly backfired. Like we like that movie more than a lot of people. Right. But I will say, based off of the comics, he should have been a villain.
Oh, Black Adam definitely should have been a villain. And if he had some control over that, then he pooch screwed himself.
Definitely.
And that, and promoting his tequila on the Black Adam promos and stuff.
Oh, you're not a big fan of that?
I don't care, dude. I just think it's funny. It's true. If it's true. I mean, there's so much stuff out there now. You don't know what actually happened. But if that's true, it's kind of shitty.
It is. It is, definitely. But just seeing this dude the other night, I'm like, God, if he would have just had that. And maybe he learned from Black Adam.
Right.
Maybe he said, shit, I'm not doing this again.
Right.
Because that's what a lot of people were saying online is like, oh, he's going to do the same shit here, and the fans are just going to shit all over him online. And they started to. But now he's embraced it. And, dude, I mean, the Rock being a heel is one of the most entertaining things in the world. He told this guy the other day, the guy's in the crowd, he goes, hey, fatty, shut up or I'm going to come out there and slap the herpes off your lips. Like live on air. Like, this guy's hysterical. So what does that have to do with comics? Nothing and everything, because The Rock plays Black Adam and he's in a comic book. So there you go.
Isn't he big? He's much bigger now.
Oh, he's huge.
Than when he first came out as a wrestler, right?
Yep. Yeah, he's freaking jacked now. So, all right, well, there you have it. That's agree to disagree. Let us know if you agree with me. Do you agree with Adrian? We had a couple of disagrees this week. Now, we did flip script on Taylor Swift because last week I said she shouldn't be in it. You agreed. You almost threw up in your mouth, but
no. What I almost threw up in my mouth because I thought you were joking when you said that Taylor Swift was going to be cast as Dazzle.
Right.
Not about her showing up in the X-Men movie or Deadpool movie or whatever. Now, I thought you were joking because I didn't. I mean, she's known throughout the multiverse anyway.
Yeah, true.
So why do we need to have her in a movie? Right. So with that said, then you came back and you was like, well, she's gonna play Dazzle, and I remember Dazzle.
Yeah.
Dazzler. Dazzler from when, back in the day. I'm like, wait a minute. Taylor Swift, tall, skinny, mid. Female chick, blonde. So she would be pretty much perfect,
absolutely,
for that part. Yep. Now about her showing up in Deadpool or X-Men or wherever, I don't know about that.
Got it.
But I do think that she could really own that comic book character.
Yeah. And I'm thinking cameo, and that's what like this. I'm cool with cameo. But yeah, when I did first say it, I thought, yo, this chick's just going to show up and, like, have a role in the movie. But then when I looked up and saw Dazzler, I'm like, dude, that looks perfect. Like, that's, perfect casting. So, do we change our mind here? Yeah, sometimes in mid-episode, which we did last week. Exactly. So, but we had some new information. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's what it was.
All right. Deadpool and Wolverine. The teaser trailer was released this past Sunday. You seen it?
I didn't see it in the Super Bowl. No. I missed it.
Okay.
Only thing I saw was a bunch of dude. What happened with the Super Bowl commercials? Yeah. It's like they pulling people. That's probably why the Fantastic Four is cast in the '60s because they're just pulling all these old people out. I'm like, dude, why are you even in the show? And then a lot of stuff didn't make any sense to me. I'm like, what was that commercial even about?
Yeah.
So I missed that the teaser.
So you probably just tuned out because it was a commercial.
I was running around doing other stuff, so I thought I would catch it, but you know, obviously I didn't. So I found it later.
Got it. So found it later. I watched it. This was the most viewed trailer ever in like a 24-hour period or some shit. So yeah, literally, breaking the internet, I guess. Now there's been rumors about the TVA being featured in Deadpool 3, right? It's going to be some type of multiversal story for the Fox X-Men universe, kind of similar to what No Way Home was for Spider-Man.
Yep.
So that's been pretty much all we've known about this so far, and the trailer confirmed that. Starts with Wade, getting a birthday cake, and we see him with a wig on.
Dude, I saw that, and I instantly got pissed off. I'm like, what the hell are they doing, man? I'm like, why is Ted Danson in Deadpool? It's like, I didn't know what was going on. So when they ripped the wig off, I was like, okay.
That was like one of your favorite moments of the trailer.
I was all set after that. I was like, dude, this, woo.
And, we see all of his friends around. We got Colossus there. I like how he's so big, you just see, like, the bottom of his face. Negasonic, teenager, whatever, Warhead's there. Yukio, her girlfriend. The dude, what's the guy with the contacts? Shatterstar or some shit like that.
Whatever.
But anyways.
The mustache.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the mustache guy's there. Who we thought died, but did he die in Deadpool 2? Or no, his arm was just cut off.
But I didn't see whether his arm was cut off in the trailer or not. And, of course, his girlfriend.
Yep, his girlfriend, Blind Al's in the house.
Yep.
We get to see her. So they're just having like a nice little wholesome moment. Dopinder's there, the cab driver. And then as soon as he blows out the candle, TVA shows up.
Right.
Which makes sense because we talked about the first Deadpool movies last week. In Deadpool 2, he messes around with time travel in the end.
Right.
So TVA showing up to, fix whatever he undid. We see him brought to the TVA, very similar to Loki, when he was first brought to the TVA. And we see flashes of a lot of shit going on. There's battles. Like they're in this, it looks like they're in the Void. If you remember in Loki, they go to that place, the Void. It looks like they're there. And there's one scene, I don't know if you picked up on this, where there was a TVA kind of soldier or whatnot. And you remember that big entity from Loki? I think it was Eliath or something like that. I'm pretty sure that thing shows up and grabs one of them because you see like this purple mist and smoke. So it would make sense that they were there. And they're bringing Deadpool in and kind of like, very much like the Loki show, it looks like they're kind of making him an offer to do something. Right. We really don't know what yet. We see him get his suit back, and to your point, when they ripped his wig off, that was great. I love how he's just got like pieces of hair still stuck to his head though throughout. We see some pretty cool fight scenes, and I guess one of the things that was confirmed by this trailer is Deadpool is going to remain Deadpool, even with being now with Disney, because that was something that made a lot of fans nervous, was the fact that Disney's now taken over,
right?
And they don't have much of a history with rated R type movies, right. So everyone was afraid that they were going to tone down Deadpool. They said they wouldn't, but I mean it's Disney. Wouldn't be the first time they lied to us. They told us Eternals was a good movie. I mean, they did say that.
There's that.
Yeah. So anyway, but it looks like one of the biggest things I got from this trailer was Deadpool is going to remain Deadpool, and that's a good thing.
Right.
Like the little joke about pegging, which was he goes, pegging's nothing new for me, but it is for Disney.
Right.
And then he calls himself Marvel Jesus, which was good. There's a scene in this that you mentioned Patch a few weeks ago, right? Patch is Wolverine. No, you mentioned Pug, the little short guy. I'm sorry.
Puck.
There you go.
Puck is from Alpha Flight.
Yes. Right. Patch is Wolverine's secret alternate identity, where he wears the white coat and he has a patch over his eye. You never seen this in the comics?
No, dude, I never seen that.
So he owns a bar in Madripoor, I think it's called, and there's a scene in this movie or in this trailer where Deadpool's kind of walking through, looks like some type of party or something, and we see a white coat in a seat with like the Wolverine style haircut a little bit. It's about 1 minute and 20 seconds into the trailer, and that looks just, if you look up Patch Marvel, it looks just like that character. So I'm assuming we're going to get some variants of Wolverine. You ever seen it? You ever remember seeing him dressed like this in the comics?
No, not at all. Yeah, just the yellow and the black.
Yep. So this is some other variant. I think he buys a bar in Madripoor and kind of goes in hiding and has this other identity when he's there. We have seen Madripoor in the I may be saying that wrong, in the Falcon Winter Soldier series. Mm-hmm. Remember the Carter, her granddaughter, blonde chick?
Yep.
She's in some bar when I think Falcon goes there and meets her or something. In another country or some shit. But anyways, that is Madripoor, and that actually is the bar that Wolverine or Patch owns in the comics. So some of these locations already exist, so we get to see that in there. We see a little bit of Wolverine at the end. Mm-hmm. I like how they kind of tease it. Like, we're not getting too much in this trailer. I know you're big on, like, don't show me the whole movie in the trailer. So how'd you feel about this teaser?
I thought it was cool. I mean, a little drawn out toward the end, but it's like the trailer was like the Marvel's movie. It's like there's so much at the end that they just could have just cut out.
Yep.
But I did like how they showed Wolverine's shadow.
Mm-hmm.
And then Deadpool starts basically screaming like a little girl.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Now there's a character in here. It's what's a minute and 52 seconds into the trailer. Pyro from the original X-Men series. So remember Pyro? He originally was an X-Men student. Him and Bobby, Iceman, were friends, and they kind of split off, and he ended up joining Magneto. So the guy's sitting right there. I didn't know this at first looking at him, but if you see, he's got the Pyro goggles. Now, he's a little more burgundy than red, but that's the same actor that played Pyro back in the old X-Men movies, so he's back. So I don't know if it's the same one or a variant version. I always thought Pyro was a cool character.
And this guy looks like a bad version of Hugh Jackman, actually. So I didn't remember him. I didn't catch that at all, though. But Pyro, I mean, he looked differently, though.
Oh yeah, that's why I didn't know it was him until he actually confirmed it on social media. But I always thought that was a pretty cool character. Even in the X-Men movie series, they did a good job with him.
Yeah.
So Pyro shows back up. Now there's been rumors of a ton of other people showing up. One thing I noticed, did you notice any difference with the Deadpool suit?
It looks really red.
Yes, more red, right? It pops a lot.
Right.
More.
I'm not feeling that.
Yeah. I wonder if that, that's the whole, that's bringing Deadpool into the MCU. We got to make him brighter now, because in the Deadpool movies, it looks red, but it looks like they're filmed in Gotham. It looks like there's a dark cloud over the suit.
Well, this suit looks like Spider-Man's No Way Home. It's just like there's no pattern to it.
Right.
The original Deadpool suit had like a mesh or something else like behind the red.
Yeah,
they gave
it
some kind of So this is just fabric.
Yeah.
So I'm not feeling that part.
Now, you could argue that this is closer to the comics, because the red in the Deadpool suit in the comics does pop more. The movie was a little more muted out. So, I mean, I don't hate it. It is something that I definitely noticed.
Right.
Now, I'm wondering if they did that to help kind of counterbalance Hugh Jackman's yellow, because that's going to pop too. So it would, if Hugh Jackman's got this bright yellow and then Deadpool's got this blacked out muted red, maybe he wouldn't stand out. I don't know.
Well, so we saw in one of the Deadpools where he evolved his suits.
Mm-hmm.
We started out white, he got it all bloody,
and
then he started making stuff. So, and last week, I declared that Deadpool's suit was better than any of Wolverine's variants of suits, right? And then they go change it. So I'm sure they're doing it just to piss me off.
Yes, absolutely.
Because they're sitting around watching. But yeah, I don't like the smoothness of it. I think they should have kept the original one.
Got it. And like you said, we saw a little glimpse of Wolverine at the end. We kind of see a shadow, see the claws come out, and then we just see him kind of grab down, and then it cuts. So we get to see the blue and yellow suit again, which I'm really excited to see that on screen, not just in these little clips, but actually see it done right, because we've been waiting for a long freaking time for a real Wolverine suit.
That gun reloading scene, that was a pretty extended reloading scene. I'm not sure that should have happened. But I just hope that that's not the most memorable scene in the whole movie.
Yeah. Hopefully they're saving a lot of other shit.
Yeah.
I hope that's not their version of the highway scene this time. But hey, the trailer I think held up. It's got me even more excited about the movie. We're a few months away. Honestly, it's July, sure. So before you know it, that'll be here. Right. I won't skip that movie like Madam Web. That's for sure. Dude, I thought about going to see it, but I was like, I'd really have to kind of squeeze it in between other shit. I'm like, it's not worth it.
They're still holding out Aquaman on streaming. You still got to pay for it.
Yeah, why would
so
you
I'm like,
pay for that?
Exactly. Whatever. So now, what's out? What did you just say? Just came out to streaming?
The Marvels.
Okay, so now we have Aquaman, the Marvels. Then we'll have Madam Web probably coming out by summer, and then Deadpool will come out in the theaters.
Yep.
And so probably by fall we'll have Deadpool streaming.
Probably.
I mean, but I will go to the theater
that one
watch
I ain't missing, dude. I think this is gonna be a great movie. You'd have to try really hard to fuck this up, to be honest. Now they could do it.
Or have Snyder do it.
Oh, you think that gun reloading scene is slow now? Wait till Zack Snyder gets a hold of it. It'll be 20 minutes of the movie, just that one clip going in the back of it. Exactly. It was cool though. I'm throwing up the clips.
Yep.
Then there's also a part in this, if you notice, he's in the woods, right? Mm-hmm. It resembles the beginning of Age of Ultron. When they're attacking some Hydra base, they're trying to get the scepter back, and we see them like Black Widow's on a bike, I think, Tony, but it's through a woods, or it's through the woods with these kind of straight up and down trees, snow and shit like that. It looks very similar to that scene. So I wonder if we could see Deadpool show up in some past MCU scenes like we saw with the Avengers in Endgame.
Could.
I mean, it's going to be multiverse, time travel, TVAs involved, so really anything, nothing's off limits.
So just a thought, what if at the end of Deadpool tricks the trickster out of his chair and Deadpool becomes the center of the multiverse?
Oh, shit.
That would be funny.
Yeah. I mean, it's something, dude, I wouldn't put it past them. There's a scene where there's a guy with white gloves and a beard putting the weapons and stuff in Deadpool, like he's putting the swords in his back. He kind of slaps him on the ass, grabs his junk, like very weird. I have no idea who this dude is, but it's a guy with a white beard, almost looks like Santa Claus a little bit, and he's got white gloves. Very. Did you pick up on that?
No, not at all.
Yeah, it's when he's getting all of his weapons and shit, and right before the elevator scene, I believe, you could kind of see the white hands. Yeah. So if you slow it down, you'll see some old dude with a white beard. I'm like, what the hell? Who knows? But it's Deadpool. You never know what you're going to get. So I'm looking forward to this. Mid-July. Next up, Adrian, we have the X-Men 97 trailer dropped I think the next day, a few days later. You said you weren't a huge fan of the original X-Men animated series. I absolutely loved it. It's what introduced me to a lot of the X-Men characters. Seeing this trailer now, they've taken the art style from the 90s and just kind of made it like HD. Like they didn't really tweak it a lot, but they made it's now in 4K. It's now in HDR. Like it pops more, but it stayed true to that style. How do you feel about the art in this?
The reason I didn't really get into the X-Men animation was because of the art style, and they didn't really improve it. So I'm not really that excited about it. Besides, who cast Wolverine's voice? It sounds so weird, dude.
All right.
And then, of course, Scott's being a dick.
Yep.
My X-Men to me. I'm like, come on, dude. Go back home.
So I will say this. If you watch the animated series, Wolverine's voice is perfection. I don't know what the fuck happened in this trailer. Cal Dodd does his voice. Actually met Cal at the Terrificon last year in Connecticut. Great guy. Dude was even reciting some lines in front of me. Sounded good. I don't know what happened here because that sounds nothing like. I challenge you, Adrian, when you go back home, watch 4 seconds of an animated series from the 90s and listen to Wolverine's voice.
Right. And
tell me how that sounds anything like this bullshit in this trailer.
Wow.
Now, the issue is, this original show started in like 92. So we're talking, 30 years ago?
Right.
So I don't know about you, but does your voice sound the same way it does 30 years ago?
No.
So I don't know. I know they wanted to keep the nostalgia and have these people back, but I don't know. I hope the rest of this doesn't sound like that. I hope that was just a really bad freaking voiceover. So but you're right. It doesn't sound like Wolverine, and it doesn't sound like his original portrayal.
Right.
So you're not a big fan of I remember you said that about 97. That's why you never watched the original series. Now, some of the stories, a lot of the stories in the animated series were great. They did a great job of pulling comic stories and not screwing them up. Like the Dark Phoenix saga in this, I think it's maybe season 3. They do the Phoenix and they do the Dark Phoenix saga. It's better than anything they ever attempted on screen.
Really?
It's right up there with the comics.
Okay.
They did a Days of Future Past. Like, they adapted a lot of popular comic storylines into this. Mr. Sinister is a huge villain in the second season. Okay. His portrayal was great. I heard that he's coming back into this as a main villain. The original show ended with, I believe, Professor Xavier's death. And we see at the end of this trailer, his will, he left everything to Magneto,
right? Which is
for me is probably one of the most intriguing things about this show right now.
Right. And Magneto looks psychotic.
Yes, he does
in that rendition. So, but I mean, I think he should, because actually Magneto helped Xavier build Cerebro.
Correct.
And the school.
Yep.
He's filled in for him.
Yep.
So I mean, he has his own agenda.
Yep.
But I mean,
but we've seen Magneto. I mean, originally he was a straight up villain. Right. And we've seen him in the comics and in the animated series kind of shift more towards that anti-hero. Right. You know, I always talk about how, Stan Lee developed the X-Men to really tell a lot of these civil rights type stories. And Xavier was always compared to MLK, and then Magneto was always compared to Malcolm X, being more violent with his same mission, equality, same, and they both, Xavier and Charles, the same mission is to have mutants being treated like even with humans, right? Xavier goes about it in a more peaceful way, and Magneto's like, well, he just gets tired. Like, if y'all are not going to support us, we're just going to take y'all out. Right. A lot more psychotic in a way, at times. But we've seen him shift more towards working with Xavier and the mutant, and I think that's what we're getting here. So I'm really intrigued by a Magneto-led X-Men group, because I think that's going to be the biggest difference from this show and the original, which I'm all for.
Yeah, but is that something that they put in the very beginning, and then they lead him through all these adventures, or is that something that's going to be popping like probably episode 9? Or
no, I think it's right off the bat, because Xavier died in the last episode. So I would assume maybe episode 1 or 2. I think we'd see it immediately, as they reintroduce to the X-Men.
And you got to know that Scott and probably Jean and Wolverine is probably thinking, wow, this dude just screwed us, man. Why is this dude even here?
Oh, I'm sure there's going to be friction.
We spent half of our life fighting him,
Absolutely. I'm sure there's going to be friction between, Magneto and some of the X-Men, which I think, and that's partly why I love this show, is there was so much depth to the characters.
Okay.
For kids, like, if you could get past the art style, dude, check it out, because for a supposed to be children's show, there's a lot of mature storylines and just a lot of depth to the characters in general. I mean, Scott, I talked about how Cyclops has never been done justice on screen. His portrayal in this show is great. Okay. He's an asshole. He's a bitch sometimes. There's a little bit of the love triangle between Jean, Wolverine at times. Rogue and Gambit, they have a really cool dynamic in this. Gambit is portrayed very well in this. Storm as well.
Well, Rogue and Gambit are both Louisianan.
Yeah.
I think, right? So
they're both from the South. He's from Louisiana. I can't remember if she is or not, but they're both from the South.
Okay.
Yeah, but they have a kind of love-hate relationship at times. Storm, great portrayal, and then we talked about how shitty the Halle Berry version was, and the Alexander ship was like okay. And they changed her style. They gave her the mohawk in this, which I think looks cool. Yeah,
I don't like that.
You don't like the mohawk, Storm? No. Originally she had just kind of like the big hair, but now she's got the mohawk. And Bishop seems to be featured heavy in this. He was featured in the show, but he was kind of like a sideline character and showed up for the Days of Future Past storyline. But he was done. He was another hidden gem of yours, Bishop. Right. And I think you'd love his portrayal in this. We've seen Cable, and the thing about the original animated series, there was a lot of crossover.
Okay.
Spider-Man show, I think he showed up, or they crossed over into the Spider-Man show. Mm-hmm. Captain America was in some episodes. A lot of obscure villains too, like Apocalypse was featured. Omega Red was in a few episodes. They did a lot with this show. They get into a lot of the space stuff in some of the future episodes, like Lilandra and that whole team. Gladiator is in here too. Is it Gladiator the guy with the mohawk, or is that Guardian?
That's Gladiator.
Gladiator. He shows up in a couple episodes. Yeah, I'm excited for this. Next month it's coming out, March 20th on Disney Plus. Now I'd be interested if they're going to drop the whole show, or do a week episode at a time.
That would be painful.
Yeah, I hope they just drop the whole thing.
Yeah. I'm sure I've missed a whole lot of good stuff, man, because of the art style. I just, I'm so used to like the whole Japanese animation thing, especially with like Ghost in the Shell, Bubblegum Crisis, all that good stuff. And then so when I see Iron Man Technovore or Batman Ninja, I mean, I get excited about that kind of stuff. So anything that's like flat kind of art style just doesn't do it for me. That doesn't mean that the stories are bad. It's just that, visually it just doesn't do it for me.
Right. And I think they've, I said they didn't change much, but looking over this trailer again, they did add a lot of depth to this art. And I think it does look a lot better than the past. But it stayed true enough to that 90s look and feel. So I'm looking forward to it.
Even though I did like the Iron Man animated series, which was kind of like the art style was just different. Was
that the one from like 90s or?
It was the one when he was a kid and Rhodey was there as a kid and Pepper was there. He was like still in high school.
Got it.
And that and Stan was running the company and all that kind of stuff.
Got it. So there you have it, X-Men 97. That will drop in March, and I'm pretty sure we'll probably do some reviews on that once it drops. We have I don't think I'm going to see Madam Web, dude. No. I think after seeing, I'll wait till it goes out on streaming.
Right.
Why? Why bother?
Exactly.
The next time I go to see a movie, it's going to be Deadpool and Wolverine. So, dude, a lot of X-Men stuff this week between X-Men 97, Deadpool, Wolverine. We got Fantastic Four. A lot of Marvel shit going on.
Right.
DC. Now, I wonder, is it a good thing that they're quiet? Does that mean they're working on some stuff they're going to shock and awe us in a year or two, or do they just not know what the hell to do?
I'm sure they think they're gonna shock and awe us, but I'm sure they're working on something.
Yeah.
And we'll just be surprised next year. Maybe Snyder's electricity gonna get shut off. They're gonna make the movie, and it's gonna be like a whole black, 2 hours of black screen. Who knows?
Imagine Zack Snyder's X-Men.
Oh my God.
Those claws coming out in slow-mo.
Right. What's that show? It was made. It's like crazy cinematography. It was Bruce Willis, shot like in like a
Sin City.
Sin City.
Yes.
Zack Snyder made a X-Men like that. I think that'd be pretty cool.
That would be cool. Yeah. Sin City was cool. I never saw the second one. I don't even think I finished the first. But it looks cool.
Yeah.
So, but it kind of
that 300 vibe.
Yep. Which actually was Zack Snyder, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 300.
So he can do something.
He can do, yeah.
Right. Just didn't do it with Justice League.
No, just did not. Nope. And I think, I don't hate that movie, honestly. I just think it's so overrated.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It is, I'm sure it's a lot better than Joss Whedon's Justice League.
And why they had to do like a black and white version of it? What was that about?
Dude.
Just leave it alone, man.
Like I said before, no one wants to see black and white shit anymore. Now that we have color TVs, now that we have them.
Exactly.
Like, with the ability to see shit in 4K, 8K, HDR, and you want to go, let's just put that out in black and white.
Nobody's old enough to remember or care about watching the way it used to be.
Yeah, I'm good. I tried. So the Logan movie, I remember when the DVD or the Blu-ray came out, I bought like this deluxe version that had a black and white version. Dude, after I had seen Logan for like 3 times, I put the movie on. About 3 minutes in, I was like, "Fuck this!" I took it out and put the regular version. I'm like, I don't want to see. I don't want to see gray blood. I want to see red blood. Do
they still make like Blu-rays and that kind of stuff?
Yeah. They're out there, dude.
Interesting.
Yep, it's crazy. So anyway, well, there you have it, X-Men 97. That trailer came out. We talked about Fantastic Four coming out in a couple years. A lot of good stuff. So I'm excited for what's to come. Next movie we'll probably review, like I said, Deadpool 2. Next week, Adrian, we're going to have We Respond. So every other week, we're going to do We Respond. I thought, give you guys a week to kind of drop us some comments, and we will respond next week. But we do appreciate the support, and everyone's asking about merch, dude. So 2 weeks, I promise. 2 weeks, merch store will be live. It's just I wanted to test. We're doing quality checks right now. I wanted to make sure the shirts, the hats were good enough quality to where I would wear them. So once we confirm that. So I got one more order I'm putting in to test some stuff, and then after that, the store will be live. So anyone who's been asking, you'll be able to get some merch in a couple weeks. So we appreciate the support. It's been a lot of fun. We talk a lot of shit. Y'all do online too, but I hope it's all love. We appreciate every comment, whether you love us, hate us, every view, because without y'all, we wouldn't be here. That's right. Vice versa. So, Adrian, thanks for coming in.
Yep, as always, man.
And we will see you guys next week right here on Only Comics.